Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Atrophy of Soul, and welcome to my Resident Evil 2 Claire A rank playthrough for Halloween 2015. So we are going to be going through the entirety of Claire's A scenario in this video, and I hope that you all enjoy this. So yeah, they were parted by an unescapable destiny. This is just the beginning of their worst nightmare. So here we go, one of my favorite games ever, Resident Evil 2. And yeah, I pretty much always play the Claire A, Leon B scenarios because it's the canon scenario and I think it's the most fun. Leon A, Claire B is interesting, but I don't think it's as fun as Claire A, Leon B. So let's go in here.
Freeze!
This guy with his great voice acting.
Don't shoot! I'm a human!
So the voice acting in this game isn't too bad. Obviously there are some characters like this one that have a very odd performance. But for the most part, the game is pretty consistent with the voice acting, especially in comparison to the original Resident Evil.
By the time I noticed something was wrong, the entire city was infested with zombies.
It's infested with zombies. But yeah, the original game had some pretty atrocious voice acting. As much as I love it, if I'm to think about it objectively, the voice acting is horrible in that game. But this game stepped it up quite a bit, in my opinion. They did a pretty good job with the voice acting here. So of course, the gun guy, he dies from zombies breaking through the glass. If you were to stay in there and actually pick up some ammo, you would see him get killed by the zombies. But since we're just running through the game as quickly as we possibly can for now, we are not going to see that. And I will not be picking up any ammo as I'm going through the streets of Raccoon City. But yes, I'm kind of speedrunning this game, but I'm still going to pick up some extra things that I wouldn't necessarily need if I was doing a proper speedrun, because I still want this to go smoothly. So yeah. But this intro sequence is quite nice. They really stepped up their game with this iteration of the series, because you know, the entirety of the first game took place in the mansion, and as soon as you start playing Resident Evil 2, you're just thrown into the streets of Raccoon City, which are infested with zombies, as you heard earlier. But yeah, it was pretty cool to see all of this. Oddly enough, I ended up playing Resident Evil 3 first, because I didn't have a PlayStation at the time, and I had gotten Resident Evil 3 and 2 at the same time, and I heard that no, I had gotten 3 on my birthday and then 2 on like Christmas or something. So I played Resident Evil 3 first, and yeah, it was pretty interesting to see all the differences between 3 and 2, but they're pretty awesome games in their own right. I think Resident Evil 2 and 3 are perfect companion pieces to each other. But yeah, so the first thing we want to do when we go into the police station is go meet up with Marvin. And we get some more excellent voice acting. Pretty much the only cop left alive in the police station. Well, besides the police chief, but...
Are you the only officer left in the building?
Who are you?
Claire,
And he's a black guy
Claire
as well.
Redfield. I'm looking for my brother.
Of course, the black
Chris.
guy's the first to die.
We
Jesus
lost
Christ.
contact with him over 10 days ago.
Then again, he
Chris,
wasn't, because we saw the gun
Jill
guy
Barry.
die earlier, so...
Every
Doesn't
last
make any
STARS
sense.
team member has disappeared. We should have listened to them.
Yes, you should have.
What happened?
About 2 months ago,
So we get some
There was
backstory
this
about the
incident
original game right here.
involving these zombie-like creatures.
Zombie-like.
In a
sure.
mansion located in the outskirts of this city. Chris and the other
Again, the voice
SCAR's
acting is
members
super overdramatic at
discovered
times.
that Umbrella was behind.
But again,
every
I like it. It's cheesy,
At the
and
risk
but
of
it's
their
not
own
not
lives.
too bad.
But no one believed them.
Like back in the day, you could
Are you
actually
okay?
take this game pretty seriously.
Don't
Like you
worry
would still
about
take
me.
the original Resident Evil
Just
seriously,
rescue our
but
survivors in another room.
it was a bit jarring hearing some of the voice
Here.
acting in that game. So
Take this key card. You should be able to unlock the doors in the hall with this.
okay, so we're
Now
getting the
go.
key card.
But
Just go.
okay. Just hang in there. I'll be back soon.
So these cutscenes are unskippable. I'm going to be skipping whatever cutscenes I can throughout the game. But if you guys want to see my, old walkthrough of Resident Evil 2, I will be sure to link it in the description. But yeah, I did a walkthrough of Claire A, Leon B, so yeah. I need to do some more Resident Evil walkthroughs. I just love these games. I don't know, I might redo like my Resident Evil Director's Cut walkthrough, which I did back on my old channel. But yeah, I don't know. Need to move on to new things. But I always love going through these games. But yeah, so we're gonna be, as I said, we're gonna be running through the game as quickly as possible, and I'm going to be attempting to unlock the rocket launcher. The infinite rocket launcher, that is. I should be able to do so because I've played through this game so many times. I know exactly what I'm doing for the most part. I likely will make a few mistakes. Mostly concerning Sherry, because her AI can be ridiculous at times. Can really screw you over when you're, speed running through the game. So here's our introduction to the Lickers, which are one of the cooler designs in the series, in my opinion. Just looks like someone who had all of their flesh peeled off and their eyes gouged out or something with a giant tongue. But yeah, pretty cool. Alright. So, as many of you probably know, you go into the police station in Resident Evil 3, and some areas are barricaded. But yeah, one of my favorite memories from playing through Resident Evil 3 initially on my birthday, like years ago when it first released, was I was actually playing the game in a room full of people. Like a bunch of my friends were over for my birthday party, and my sisters and everything, and I'm running through the police station and stuff, and like everyone's afraid that Nemesis is gonna like show up here somewhere. And yeah, so I get through this top section of the police station, go into the STARS room, get everything in there that I need, hear Carlos talking from the speakers and stuff, and then, you hear the crash downstairs, and then the Nemesis, like, brooding, stalking music starts playing, and no one wanted me to go downstairs. They're just like, don't go downstairs, do not go downstairs, he's gonna show up. I'm like, well, I need to go downstairs in order to, finish this game. Like, what am I supposed to do? They're just like, don't go. So I end up going downstairs, and I end up slowly going through, and they're just like, no, go back upstairs because Nemesis is gonna... And as soon as they said that, Nemesis crashes through the window, and everyone in the room just screams at the top of their lungs. It was absolutely ridiculous. Obviously, I didn't scream, but I was more startled. I was more startled by the people screaming in the room than Nemesis actually showing up through the window. So, yeah, that was pretty awesome. Really enjoyed that. Alright, sorry about that. Yeah, so as I was saying, Nemesis is one of my favorites BLW characters in the series. Actually, he probably is my favorite boss character in the series. just such an interesting character design. They took all the aspects of a tyrant that are awesome and melded them with all the properties of zombies, or of zombies, Jesus, of zombies that are really cool and frightening. So Nemesis is pretty much an amalgamation of a zombie and a tyrant, and that's why his design is just so cool, in my opinion anyway. I do love the normal tyrant designs, but it's just something about Nemesis that really stands out. Nemesis and Pyramid Head are probably like the coolest boss designs in horror games, period. But yeah. Alright, so we're gonna kill this Licker here because we're gonna be running through this area a few more times and I do not want to deal with him. But yeah, normally if I was actually trying to, you know, speedrun this, I would continuously attempt to dodge that Licker. Instead of wasting ammo. But yeah, so now we're going back to the statue in the main hall in order to place the unicorn medal right here. And we're gonna get a precinct key. But yes, so recently Capcom has been saying that they're going to do a new Resident Evil CG movie, which will likely coincide with, you know, a new Resident Evil game, kind of like the previous CG movie, which was awesome, by the way. The CG movies are great, in my opinion, especially the last one. They really showed how powerful the tyrants are, and how big of a threat those things are when you're trying to deal with them. It's really well done, and it kind of makes you feel bad for Lickers somehow. They actually made the Lickers in that movie. I don't know. They just they made you feel for those Lickers in that movie because they were getting freaking massacred, absolutely massacred. But yeah, I'm very much looking forward to the new CG movie. The CG movies are great, in my opinion. But hopefully they show us some stuff about Resident Evil 7. I know for a fact they're working on Resident Evil 7. But I'm really hoping that they are going back more towards the horror aspect of the series. Definitely seems as though that's what they are going to attempt to do. But who knows? Who knows with Capcom at the moment? Again, I think Revelations 2 is a perfect example of how you can do the series. The game has a lot of scarce ammo. It has an inventory. It has item management, and it has some, you know, little environments that you have to figure out how to traverse. So if they were to expand that into one gigantic game, I think it would be very, very well done. Since Revelations 2 was in episodes. Okay, there we go.
Help me!
So that's our first encounter with Sherry. And we have this zombie here that we're not going to bother with. If I'm not mistaken, that zombie actually disappears when we go back through here. No, wait, no he doesn't. I think I'm thinking of something else. Alright, so here's us meeting back up with Leon, who has already been through some shite. He's already seen Mr. X, and he is not having a good time right now.
Have you seen a little girl around here?
Yeah, you just missed her. Who is she?
I don't know. But it's too dangerous for her to stay here alone. Leon, I'll go look for her. You go and find us a way out of here.
Of course. But before I forget, here's a radio. That way we can keep in touch if something comes up.
So in this game, they actually modeled the radio for Leon to give to Claire. Unlike in the original Resident Evil, where when you see Richard on the ground and he's like, oh, here's my radio, take it. He's holding absolutely nothing, and the characters are just like miming picking up a radio. So it is kind of nice that they added that little touch to the game. They're like, yeah, we may as well model something here. Even though it doesn't really look like a radio, it just looks like a rectangular block of nothing, but good enough for me. So, now we need to activate the ladder here. And this opens up a shortcut. Now we will be able to get right back to the main hallway of the police station without a hassle. Alright. I'll take down some of these guys because I don't want to deal with all of them. I love the way the zombies break apart depending on how you shoot them. It's pretty cool. Something else that they added to this game. There was a lot added to this game when compared to the original. Again, the characters actually had damage states. So depending on how much damage you sustained, the characters would walk differently. So on Caution, you would walk with kind of a limp. Or you would walk a little slower, holding yourself, and then in Danger, you walk with a limp. Like, you can barely move around when you're in Danger mode. Which is something that they've kind of taken out in the later series. Like, in the later series, no matter what, you're pretty much in Caution mode. You never get that limp like in Danger mode, like you do in this game. Which I think is kind of unfortunate. I suppose I understand why they took that out, because it makes you so slow, and you're pretty much destined to die once you've taken that much damage. So I guess for the sake of the players, they took out that damage state, but I don't know, I kind of enjoy it. You can still survive that way, but it is quite difficult because it's pretty hard to dodge zombies, so unless you have a lot of ammo, you're kind of screwed when you're in that damage state. But yes, something else that this game added, obviously, are the dual scenarios. So obviously in the original Resident Evil, you could choose between Chris and Jill, but the thing was, when you completed the game with one character, you essentially completed the same game with the other character. However, in Resident Evil 2, when you complete like Claire's scenario, then you see it from Leon's point of view. You see what happened, where Leon went, how he got through the police station. So even though you kind of have the same puzzles and everything like that, there are different things to deal with, and you come to the police station from a different angle. And this friggin' zombie, I hate this chick. She always ends up in front of the freaking stairs here, and it pisses me off every time. But yeah, so if you were playing as Leon during the Leon B game, he would have came through the police station from here. And yeah, so he would have done this part earlier as well, but of course we still have all the same puzzles with both characters. But it's kind of nice. It's kind of like a mini arrange mode, I guess. And yeah, the story sequences obviously change with either character, but you still meet up with them in the same places that you saw them in the A game, so it's pretty cool in that way as well. But yeah, once again, I prefer Claire A, Leon B, and it is the canon scenario, for anyone wondering. This is how it happened. Because in Claire A, Leon... No, Claire B, Sherry doesn't actually get infected with a virus, and that is pretty much canon in the story. It's been canon for a while, so yeah. Anyway, so we've put out the fire, and now we're able to go through here, because this is where the helicopter crashed, and we get to hear some woman screaming for some reason. But yeah, and here we are going to pick up another key, I think. No. Yeah, I think we do pick up a key in here. Yeah, there it is. Alrighty. And of course, the jump scares are actually different depending on the scenario. And the thing that's also cool is that this game essentially has 4 different scenarios. Once again, the puzzles are very similar, but the enemy layouts are different, the jump scares are different, and the story sequences are different as well. So when you're playing through Claire B or Leon B, those are both distinct playthroughs. Like, they don't follow the same exact mold, which is really nice. And of course, Claire A and Leon A, once again, are a bit different from one another. But yeah, this game was super ambitious. It's just so cool, and it's something that I really hope to see in a future entry in the franchise. Because usually in the newer games, you're only able to play as, you know, one character. Or, you know, when you play as the character, it's just, you know, one set scenario. There aren't, like, little branches in the story paths or anything. There aren't really any different outcomes that you can attain. So that's something that I really hope that they put back into the series. Once again, Revelations 2 kind of did that, or kind of did this because it had 2 different endings, depending on what you did. Had a good ending and a pretty much terrible ending, but yeah. And of course, the good ending in that is canon. But yeah, there's just so much that they can do with this series. I just really hope that Capcom doesn't screw things up. And of course, they're making the Resident Evil 2 remake, which should be releasing quite, well, not soon. It's probably going to release in like 2017 at earliest. But I really want them to take their time with it. I just don't want that game to suck because, again, this is pretty much the most beloved game in the franchise. This and 4. But in the classic franchise, this is the most beloved game. So if Capcom screw it up, and I did not mean to pick that up, but if Capcom screw it up, they're pretty much done. Like, a lot of the fans who have been kind of wary of the series, they're just going to be done with it if the 2 remake isn't up to par with the rest of the series, or with the rest of the classic series. Alright. So, we are going to be meeting up with Marvin again. And, unfortunately, he has suffered a terrible fate. So the bowgun is pretty awesome to use, because it's not that strong of a weapon, but you can still take down enemies pretty easily, and you don't have to waste any of your other resources, like your grenade launchers or anything like that, so that makes it quite nice. Okay, so we have some foreboding music here. And I actually kind of forgot to speak about the music in one of the other areas. But this music. So Marvin has just turned purple. And he's pretty tough to dodge here. It can be really annoying. I don't even know if it's possible to avoid that attack, because he starts right next to you as soon as the cutscene ends. Like, unless you were to back up or something, I'm not even sure if you could do that. Like, if you had a quick turn, you could maybe get away from him, but this game doesn't have a quick turn. Resident Evil 3 introduced a quick turn, if I remember correctly. But yeah, because I don't think the director's cut. No, the director's cut didn't add. It just had auto-aim, just like this DualShock edition. But yeah, for anyone wondering, I'm playing the DualShock edition of Resident Evil 2, which means that I have auto-aim and things like that. But I actually own the original version of Resident Evil 2, which does not have auto-aim. And sadly, that version doesn't have a lot of the extras, like the battle game. Well, that's pretty much the only extra it doesn't have. I'm pretty sure it still has the tofu and the Fourth Survivor. But it really sucks that the battle game isn't in that incarnation. But yeah, I did end up picking the DualShock version up on PSN, so that's quite nice. And that is the version I'm playing right now. So we are meeting up with the police chief, who has a dead chick on his desk. Casual misogyny.
terribly sorry. I thought you were another one of those zombies.
Are you Chief Irons?
Yes, that's me. And just who are you? No, don't bother telling me.
Police
It
Chief
makes
is one
no
of the more
difference.
interesting characters,
You
I
will
think.
end up just like all the others.
He's just lost his mind. And it makes you wonder whether or not he had
That's
a
the
mind to
mayor's
begin with.
daughter. I was told to look after her, but I failed miserably.
But I failed.
Just look at her.
Again, overdramatic voice acting, but it's great.
She was a true beauty.
True
Her
pixelated
skin,
beauty.
nothing short of perfection.
Nothing short of jaggy skin.
But it will soon putrefy, and she will turn into a zombie within the hour, like all the others.
There must be some way to stop it.
In a manner of speaking, there is. Either by putting a bullet through her brain, or by decapitating her completely. And to think that taxidermy used to be my hobby. But no longer. Please. I'd really like to be alone now.
You know, I really do. I always found it funny that when he looks up, you can like see through his body. You can see through his neck. It looks like he has a slit there. But something I wanted to say is that I really do miss games with pre-rendered backgrounds. I would really love to see what they could do these days with a game that had pre-rendered backgrounds, because one of the last ones that did have pre-rendered backgrounds was Resident Evil 0. And that game still looks amazing to this day. Resident Evil Remake, of course, as well, still looks amazing. So, just a current gen game with pre-rendered backgrounds and really detailed characters, that would be amazing to see.
Let me go!
So we
Easy,
finally
easy
caught
there.
up
I'm
with
not a
Sherry.
zombie. You're safe now.
Who is searching for her mother and father.
Leon, come in. I found the girl, and I've cleared the wreckage that was blocking the corridor.
Got it.
God, I love the Leon B game. It's
My
just
name's
so
Claire.
cool.
What's yours?
The B games are just really interesting
Sherry,
because
Do you know where your parents
something that
are?
you do not
They both
expect is
work
that
at
you're going to
the
be
chemical plant.
stalked by
Look at
an
the
enemy
minutes.
throughout the entirety of it, which is Mr. X.
The
So, you know, when you're first going through the B
Then
game, you're just like, oh,
what
well,
are
it's
you
just
doing
going to be
here?
another, you know, just me running through the game normally again. But then you
And
end up
coming
on the
to
other
the
side of the
police
wreckage
station
in the
because it was
beginning,
too
and you end up
dangerous
going
to stay
into
at
the
home.
police station
From
from
the
a
look of
different,
things, I'd say she was probably
from a
right.
different
It's
side.
dangerous here as well. You'd better come with me.
And then eventually you get to see
But there's something
Umbrella
out there.
drop a
I don't know
bioweapon
what it
into the
is,
police station.
But I saw it. Much
And
larger
when they
than
drop
any
that
of
weapon
those
into the
zombies.
police station, you're just
And
like,
it's coming after
holy
me."
god, what is this?
What was
And then you
that?
end up
That's
seeing
what
him,
I
and
was
it's just
telling
this
you about.
giant
It's here.
tyrant following
Sherry,
you throughout
wait.
the entirety of the game. And he pops up in random places. He'll break through walls and just startle you to death. It's awesome. It's just one of the cooler things. And pretty much Resident Evil 3 took that concept and ran with it through the entirety of it, which is also great. Nemesis is always looming. Like, you always feel his presence through the entirety of the game. It feels like he's watching you no matter where you go. It's just such a well done game. Freaking love it. And that's something that they tried to emulate with the Ustank or the Ustanok or whatever the fudge it's called in Resident Evil 6, which they failed miserably at doing. Especially considering the fact that Jake actually kung fu fights the freaking thing at the end of the game. It's absolutely ludicrous. But yeah, that's freaking Resident Evil 6. Jesus Christ. What a clusterfuck that game is. I do I do enjoy Resident Evil 6 as a game. But as a Resident Evil game, it is just a travesty. I could see what they were trying to do. They really did try to fill that game with as much content as they possibly could. They tried to give us every kind of gameplay style that you know, fans wanted. Everything from, you know, a more actiony game to something that had more of a horror atmosphere. And they tried to just homogenize all these elements into one game, and due to the fact that they had all of these elements in play within this one game, the game feels bloated, and it feels like it's lacking in focus. Like there's no one gameplay style or scenario that really stands out and feels like it's fleshed out to its fullest, which is really sad. It sucks. Again, I see what they were trying to go for, and I do respect them at the very least for attempting to do so many things at once in the game, but it doesn't change the fact that they just failed completely at what they were trying to do. Not failed completely, I mean, it does have its moments. A lot of stuff in the Leon campaign is pretty cool, but it's a little too over the top for its own good. There are a lot of cool sequences, but again, just a little too much. They just went a little too overboard with the game. Especially when it came to the Jake segments, where he's just fighting the friggin' final boss. It's... oh god. I just don't like Jake as a character. I think he's horrible. I don't know, I just don't like what the character represents. He's just... oh god, he's just there to appeal to a younger demographic. That's the only reason that the character exists. And he's so like... he's so cliche of what people think is cool. I don't know, it just pisses me off. I just don't like anything about the character. He's such a derivative character. But, yeah.
Sherry,
If anything, I actually did it. The few things that I did enjoy about Resident Evil 6 is when it came to characters was Piers. I thought Piers was really well done. Pretty cool character.
Let's go.
I thought Chris's character was absolutely inconsistent.
No, I won't.
I don't know what they were thinking with Chris.
What's the matter?
During the first half of his campaign, he's acting nothing like he should. And then in the second half, he kind of snaps out of that freaking rage that he was going through and acts like
He's
Chris
over
again.
there. I heard him call my
And
name.
it's one of the most strange and abrupt things you'll ever witness in your life. Ridiculous. But
I have to help him.
yeah, so by the end, Chris actually acts normal, and it's quite nice to see him normal again. But
Wait, Sherry.
before
don't
that,
go
you're just
alone.
like, Jesus Christ, what is wrong with Chris? Like,
Sherry.
this is so out of character for him. But yeah, so that's something I didn't like as well. Again, I like the Piers character, but the way Chris acted just, it was just so stupid. Then I did enjoy the way that they characterized Sherry. I think that was one of the best things about the game. How she was kind of affected by the events of Resident Evil 2 was cool, and her having the virus inside of her and being experimented on and everything like that. It's just really interesting stuff. And I do enjoy her character in that game. However, again, Jake takes away from the entire thing. It's just, oh god. Again, Jake is not a horrible character in and of himself, but it's just the reason that they place the character into the game that pisses me off. But yeah, so that's the Jake campaign. Then of course, Leon I always enjoy, but I did not enjoy the way Ada was characterized either in that game. They made her a little too, I don't know, they kind of forced her character to say really strange things, like constantly cracking jokes and stuff. It made no sense because Ada was never that kind of character. Like, you play as her in Resident Evil 4, and she's not cracking jokes every 2 seconds about, like, the worst jokes you've ever heard in your life. She's not cracking jokes every 2 seconds about the situation. She actually cares about what's happening to Leon and all of that stuff in Resident Evil 4. And she helps him throughout the game, so, yeah. I thought Resident Evil 4 Ada is, like, the epitome of what Ada should be. She's great in Resident Evil 2 as well. But in Resident Evil 4, you kind of get to see more of her character and everything like that. But in 6, she is just... she's just such a bitch. It's ridiculous. Like, again, it's out of character for her to act that way. Just completely nonchalant all the time. Completely just... I don't know. just detached from the entire situation. Like, at the very end, she has, like, an emotional breakdown, and all of a sudden she's just like, whatever, and walks away. They tried so hard to make Ada, like, this cool, cold character, and it just does not match. Like, Ada is a cold character, but she does have a heart. In that game, she didn't really seem to have a heart. Like, she does help Leon eventually, but it seems like she inadvertently helped Leon, as opposed to in, you know, 2 and 4, where she actually actively tries to help him. Even though it's against her kind of code of conduct, but, yeah, just really, really freaking annoying. I guess that characterization was kind of in Resident Evil Degeneration, but it wasn't as bad as it was in 6. In 6, it was just ridiculous.
Claire!
But, yeah, that's enough about that. But,
Sherry.
yeah, I
are
did
you
enjoy
okay?
Leon,
Did
for
you
the most
find your
part,
dad?
even though he is a bit, like, it's like depressed to Leon in Resident Evil 6, and I understand why he's so depressed, because he's in such a freaking mediocre game. And, then Helena, I have no thoughts about.
Here's another.
I don't dislike her, and I don't particularly like her either. So, yeah, take
Thanks,
that for what you will.
Now, why don't you come over here? I want you to stay with me.
Alright, so Sherry has given Claire the precinct key and
I can't
the
reach
grenade
the
rounds.
ventilation hole anymore. But don't worry,
So,
I'll find another way.
Yeah. If I was doing a speed run, I probably wouldn't have picked up the grenade rounds.
Wait, Sherry, come back. Sherry! Sherry!
If I wanted to be as precise as I possibly could with the speed run and do it, you know, perfectly with the exact amount of resources that I can possibly complete the game with, then I probably would do that. But yeah, I always like to have a little extra, because as many times as you've played through this game, there are a few variables that will change. Just enemy reactions can change and things like that from playthrough to playthrough, so you can't completely rely on that kind of thing. You know, just, you know, I need this certain number of ammo to take out this certain number of enemies and things like that. So it's always good to have a little extra. Alright, so lickers are here now instead of these zombie dogs. But yeah. So let's go back upstairs. And I have a little bit of a cough today, which I'm trying to quell throughout this. So if you guys hear me coughing at all at certain points, I do apologize. This room is always interesting to me. I always thought that this zombie would get up, but he never does. And it's the same with the other zombie in, like, the office area of the police station. There's just a zombie laying on the floor there, and it's just like, is this guy ever gonna wake up? Like, come on. Come on, get up. You know you want to. That's something that's really awesome about these games. Like, sometimes they trick you like that. Like, it's just like, yeah, let's just put a zombie here that they'll think will wake up, but never will. That was the zombie I was talking about, by the way. But yeah, I'm gonna try to be showing off my epic zombie dodging skills right here. So in order to properly dodge all of these zombies, you're gonna want to wait for them to walk toward you a little bit. They'll all kind of zone in on you, and once they do, you can run around them and not waste ammo. So that is quite nice. So let's get the heck out of here. But yeah, there is an art to dodging zombies in these earlier Resident Evil games. Oh, Jesus Christ. Come on. Freaking wench. I hate it when I just shoot off their legs. It pisses me off. But, yeah. In any case, once again, the Resident Evil series, I think people make it out to be a lot worse than it actually is. It kind of reminds me of the Sonic series, in that people are just like, oh my god, Sonic is dead. There hasn't been a good Sonic game forever and things like that. And Sonic has had a lot of good games. He's also had a few ridiculously terrible games, which probably overshadow the fact that the good games do exist out there. But I think we're in kind of the same place in Resident Evil, because, you know, we've had Resident Evil 6, which was mediocre. We had Resident Evil 5, which was kind of divisive when it released, mostly due to the co-op. And then we've had Operation Raccoon City, which was not a mainline entry in the series. And I don't know why people consider that to be part of it, but those were, well, Resident Evil 6 was the worst game in the series, the numbered series anyway. Obviously, Operation Raccoon City being a side story, I didn't really care about the quality. I mean, it does suck that the Resident Evil name is on it, but again, it was a side story, and a lot of the side games in the series have not been too great, to be honest. I mean, we've had Resident Evil Survivor, which is not a great game by any means. It is fun. It is fun to replay and just, you know, listen to the horrible voice acting and see how terrible it is. But, no, that game was not praised at all when it first released. It got some pretty terrible scores, and it was met with... I don't know, it wasn't met with praise. So, yeah, I don't really see how we can kind of conflate the mainline series with these side stories, because in the past we didn't do so, so yeah. But in any case, Operation Raccoon City was a really just, oh god, I don't think it was horrible, but I do understand how people could think it was horrible. Like, if you were to point out all the flaws in the game, I would not be able to say, you know, I would not be able to defend it, because I don't defend the flaws. However, in spite of the flaws, I have fun with that game. I think it's a fun game to play co-op with people, just to see all the glitches and everything that you can come across. And I do think that some of the scenarios were really cool. The Echo 6 stuff was great. And that should have been in the game from the get-go. It was all like paid DLC episodes for the Echo 6 campaign, which was by far the best campaign in the game. It kind of sucks though, because you play through that game wanting to play as Umbrella, but the Umbrella campaign is just, it's so boring in comparison to the Echo 6 stuff, because the Echo 6 campaign has a variety of objectives to complete, and you meet up with the other characters, and, you know, get to help them out, and then you get to, I don't know, there's just a lot of different scenarios that are thrown at you during the Echo 6 campaign. But in the normal campaign with the Umbrella characters, it's pretty straightforward stuff. Like, there's nothing that kind of throws you off or anything. But, yeah, again, the game is deeply flawed. I cannot lie about that. Like, a deeply flawed game, and I will not defend it at all. And that was actually my first game review, was Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City. I was gonna say Umbrella Chronicles, but yeah, Operation Raccoon City. But yeah, I don't know, I really enjoy the game. It's a bad game, but I love it. I think it has some really cool music as well. The remix Nemesis theme is amazing, and yeah. The Echo 6 campaign just had so many more memorable things in it. Like, you fight against all the Mr. X tyrants that are being shot with the gun from Resident Evil 3. That the giant, I forgot what that gun was called, but it's this giant gun that you use in Resident Evil 3 to finally destroy Nemesis. And it's in a room full of dead tyrants, because Nemesis feeds on a bunch of the tyrants that are in the room in order to augment his power. So you end up shooting Nemesis with this giant Gatling, well, not a Gatling gun, but it's just this giant electric gun that I cannot remember the name of right now. But yeah, you shoot him with that, and you're just like, wow, I wonder what happened in this room, and you actually get to experience what happened in that room in the Echo 6 campaign, where, you know, all the characters are being bombarded by freaking giant tyrants, and then the tyrants are being shot by the giant gun, and they're all transforming, and it's just, it was really cool the way they integrated that with the game. And that's the reason I really enjoy the Echo 6 campaign, because it integrates a lot of the stuff from the older series into the game, or into the campaign rather. So it's kind of like reliving the series a little bit. But yeah. So that's Operation Raccoon City. Again, I understand why people don't like it, but I don't think it should be I guess, yeah, I don't think people should use it as an example of why the series has gone downhill, because it wasn't developed in studio. It was developed by you know, it was outsourced, and it was meant to be a side story. And pretty much every side Resident Evil game has not been that great. Besides the Revelation series, but I consider the Revelation series to be part of the main series for the most part, because they are usually pretty great, in my opinion. But, yeah, so, again, I understand why people, you know, think this series has gone downhill. But, again, the only really bad entry in the mainline series that we've had is Resident Evil 6. And not even really bad, it's just mediocre. But it is really bad for a Resident Evil game, so I can say it is. Yeah, it is a really bad entry in the series. But Resident Evil 5, again, I understand why it's divisive, but if you play through that game co-op, it's a great game in and of itself.
Sherry, you're okay.
A far better
I'm
game
glad
than
to
Resident
hear
Evil
so,
6.
Claire.
And of course it has Lost in Nightmares and Desperate Escape. I love those two scenarios, even though Desperate Escape can make you rage a little bit if you know, things don't go your way, because it does have a random element to it, which I do enjoy as well. But yeah, so freaking God. There we go.
Claire!
I'm going
I was
down
about to say,
there.
do I need to go back
Stay
and get
here
Sherry?
wait
I
for
don't
me,
remember
okay?
having to do that. It's been like 2 years since I played this game. The last time I played it was for my walkthrough. Which I think was 2 years? I couldn't tell you. Well, the last time I played Claire A, because I played Leon B a few times. Because that's like my favorite scenario in the game. But yeah, Claire A I find to be the harder scenario to get through. Just because all of the zombies are harder to dodge, in my opinion.
Help me!
So, this is when we are first introduced to the G virus. Or William Birkin in his G virus form. Okay, sorry about that. Needed to go get something. But yeah, so again, first time we were introduced to William Birkin, the giant eye. Pretty interesting design, to say the least. Which they tried to replicate in Resident Evil 6 and did not do so
you've
very
made
well.
It this far. Not bad, girl. But I'm not letting anyone leave my town. Everyone's gonna die.
Calm down, Chief. What happened?
Shut up! You couldn't possibly understand what's happened. Those monsters from Umbrella have destroyed my beautiful town. How could they do that to me after everything I've done for them?
So it's true. You have been working with Umbrella. Then you must know about the G-Virus. What is it? Tell me!
If you must know, it's the agent that can turn humans into the ultimate bioweapons. Superior to the T-Virus in every way. Dr. William Birkin is the genius behind the project.
William Birkin.
I'm sure you've already seen his little girl running around here somewhere. Sherry. isn't it? In case you haven't already figured it out, the monster that's been tearing my precinct apart is yet another product of the G-Virus. An ultimate bioweapon. Umbrella must be trying to cover its tracks. But if I have to go, I'm going to take you with me.
So this is one of the more brutal deaths in the game.
Take the pain.
There you go. Pretty graphic. So in Claire B, I believe, when you meet up with the police chief, or no, it's Leon A, I think. God damn it, I can't remember which one it is, but I know when you meet up with the police chief and you click on this area, his body actually gets launched at you, like his torso gets launched at you. It's pretty freaking hilarious. It's not hilarious, like initially it's kind of startling, but later on, you know, when you know it's coming, it's hilarious. So yeah, here's our first encounter with the G-Virus. So essentially the G-Virus, or anyone carrying the G-Virus who's transformed, they're looking to, you know, spread their seed, and they're looking for people who are as similar to them as possible. So William Birkin is essentially looking to impregnate his daughter with the G-Virus, because that'll make for a more powerful bioweapon. It's pretty disturbing if you think about it like that, and god darn it. It's freaking... I hate it when these things grab me. But yeah, let's go back and get Sherry. But yeah, anyway, the series, again, I don't think it's, you know, in as dire of a strait as people think. Of course, I did do my Resident Evil and Degeneration video, which I used to talk about the entire series, and just kind of give people an idea of how the series kind of went downhill, kind of losing its identity and things like that. But for the most part, I think the series can be redeemed. I think Resident Evil Revelations 2 was a great game. I think the original Revelations was also a great game. And yeah, I think the series will be okay. I'm hoping. Especially with the 2 remake coming out, and Resident Evil 7 will hopefully go back to full horror, so we should be okay.
But you have to make sure you don't leave my side. Leon, are you still there? We're leaving.
Are you crazy? The streets are still crawling with zombies.
It'll be all right, trust me. We found a way to the sewer. Follow us later.
Claire! Claire! Wait, wait!
So as I was saying, once you know, leave the police station, the game goes from being somewhat non-linear in the way that you can tackle the objectives, essentially, and it goes from that to being pretty linear in the grand scheme of things, because you're essentially traversing some smaller environments, and the environments are, god freaking darn it, Sherry, I hate that. I freaking hate that. That's the reason that speedrunning Claire A can be a pain in the ass, because of Sherry constantly bending down if you go too fast. But as I was saying, the game goes from being somewhat non-linear to linear for the most part, because the puzzles are pretty straightforward. The areas that you are exploring are a lot smaller than the police station, and it makes for a lot easier of an experience during the second half of the game. And I don't mind that whatsoever. I think it's fine. The original game was kind of like that, but I do think that the lab in Resident Evil 1 is a lot more difficult to get through than the lab in Resident Evil 2 is.
Let's get out of here.
Even though the lab in 2 is technically bigger, but I don't know, there just isn't as much to it, in my opinion. into the XD door. Love the XD door. Alright, so here we are going to get in a little interesting section where we get to play as Sherry. I always thought it was kind of weird there when the camera changes, like she's just floating in the air for a few seconds.
Sherry! Claire! I'm here!
So the thing that is nice about playing as Sherry is that she cannot be grabbed by zombies. Which is why in the earlier section, there were zombie dogs there. If you play the game on easy mode, there are normal zombies in that section that we played as Sherry in. But when you're playing on normal, which is essentially hard mode, there are zombie dogs there to make it a little harder for you to deal with. But yes, the zombies cannot grab you. They will try to vomit on you, though. But it's pretty easy to dodge. If you get hit by those zombie bile or zombie vomit, whatever, it's pretty much your fault. But yeah, so we're gonna pick up the crest, or the medal rather, which should look familiar if you played the original Resident Evil. And there we go. The death of Sherry.
Claire?
JK smile. But yeah, thankfully she landed on a bunch of garbage. However, William Birkin is around. And he's like, a perfect specimen. And he pretty much injects her with the virus. So now, we need to find Sherry, and we need to make it out of this sewer. I do enjoy the sewer section here. It is very reminiscent to those sort of catacombs in, or the cave in the original game. But, it's a lot less annoying because there aren't hunters. Thank God, the hunters. Jesus. There's nothing in this game as annoying as the hunters in the original Resident Evil. I love the way the hunters were done in the remake, but the hunters in the original game they can be super cheap if you don't know what you're doing. Like, they can just decapitate you for no reason when they feel like it. It's just like, wow, like, seriously, I didn't even take that much damage and he just decapped me. Freaking ridiculous. But yeah. So let's continue on here. Again, this is essentially the start of the second half of the game. Once you leave the police station, and there isn't much more left, honestly. And again, as I said, the game is split up into smaller chunks from here on out, so the areas aren't as expansive as they once were, or as expansive as the police station. So it makes a lot of the puzzles a lot easier to figure out. Which I do not mind because, you know, after going through the police station in the beginning of the game, it is nice that the developers gave us a little bit of a break from here on out. Because if we had to explore another gigantic area, it might have made people a little tired. But, yeah. Pretty awesome. So of course the giant spiders are in here, and if you get hit by that stuff, you will be poisoned. So be sure to avoid that. And we are going to be getting a lot of exposition here from Sherry's mother.
Who are you? Oh, I see. Another spy sent by Umbrella, right? Let me guess. You're here to steal my husband's G-Virus, aren't you? You are tenacious, I'll give you that.
Husband? Then you must be Annette. Sherry's mother?
What?
Sherry's wandering around alone in the sewers. You have to help me find her.
That's impossible. I told her to go to the police station. What's she doing here? William will be after her.
William?
That's right. The creature that's been causing all this destruction is none other than my own husband.
So those rats were the carriers of the virus?
As a result of his virus-induced transmutation, William should have lost any prior memories he had as a human by now. I tried to save him, but I'm afraid it's already too late.
But...
And that's not even the entire story. Every G-Virus bioweapon, including William, has the ability to implant embryos into other life forms. That's why he's after Sherry.
what are you trying to say?
The bodies of individuals with non-related genetic coding are likely to reject the embryo. But since Sherry is his daughter, that possibility is non-existent. It's an inherent survival instinct.
It's Sherry. You go that way.
So we've gotten some revelations in regards to Sherry and William Birkin. Annette Birkin is one of the more retarded characters in the game. Because she's constantly... Excuse me. Jesus, my throat is just being crazy. But yeah, she's constantly accusing you of wanting to have the G-Virus when you're essentially just trying to escape from this freaking hellhole of a city. But again, I do understand, you know, the character motivation, but it's kind of annoying when Leon's just like walking through the friggin' police station or walking through the lab trying to escape, and she gets behind him and is just like, "You're trying to steal this, aren't you?" It's just like, Jesus, woman, I'm just trying to get out of here. You can have whatever you want. I just want to leave. I don't want to die here. But yeah. So when you go across that bridge, you're gonna want to bring it back up, because if you don't bring it back up, you'll have to come back down here and bring it back up, because you won't be able to traverse further into the game. So here's a very interesting and cool boss battle. I don't know. It's not very interesting, but it's super fun because you get to blow something up. That's always awesome.
Sherry!
And suddenly, giant crocodile. I have no idea how that thing was hiding in that shallow water, but yes. So, what you need to do here is hit this button, wait for the croc to grab that in its mouth, and then blow its face up, which is super satisfying. You see a super satisfying spray of pixelated blood. There we go. So yeah, that is that. I really wonder how they're gonna do that in the remake. Like, is it gonna be like a full-on boss battle, or are we just gonna be able to do it the same way? Whatever the case may be, I'm looking forward to it. But yes, let's meet up with Sherry and continue to ponder how that freaking crocodile came out of this shallow water.
Come on, wake up, Sherry.
My stomach. It hurts.
Don't worry, you'll be fine. Come on, let's go.
Alrighty, so we're gonna pick up the metal. And now we need the other one, the eagle one, in order to get out of the sewers. So once again, there's honestly not much left in terms of what we need to do. We're just pretty much going through the game. We're pretty much going through the path that the game set for us. So I'm not too angry about Sherry staying back there, because I didn't need her following me up here anyway. Hurry up, wench. Oh my god. Is she stuck back there again? Please don't tell me she's stuck back there. Pretty sure she's stuck back there. I freaking hate her AI. Hold on a sec. And yes, she is, because she got stuck on the railing. Come on. Come over here, you stupid... Oh my god. Come on. Pretty much ruining my run right now. Freaking stupid little wench. I hate that AI. I really hate it. Again, it's the most annoying thing to deal with when you're speedrunning this game. Where are you going? Run straight, you stupid little... Oh my god. Alright. Don't worry, we're not gonna rage. We're not gonna rage. We're good. We are good. Love how she's walking backwards. Alright, so once you come back through here with Sherry, zombies will come out of the water. Come on, Sherry. Where are you going? Jesus Christ. Why? Why does the world hate me? Why does the world hate me? Come, where are you going? Jesus Christ, man. I hope you get hit by the vomit. I really do. And that is why speedrunning sucks. When you have Sherry to deal with. God darn it, man. Alright, so let's put both of the medals here. I do always love when they kind of do little throwback item things from the previous game. Or from the previous games. Kind of like they did with the crests in the remake. Where in the remake you don't need the crest to actually leave the mansion, but you need the crest in order to get the Magnum. I don't know, I always thought that was cool. This room is always super interesting to me. I don't know why, it's like super foreboding. But there's nothing actually around here, I don't know. Come on, Sherry, Jesus Christ. Alright, so let's turn the power on here. We will be able to go on the tram. I don't know why, but I really love train stations when it comes to like apocalypse movies and stuff like that. Even though this obviously isn't an actual train station, but it has a tram. But yeah, there's an item over here, the W box key. Normally, you would need the lighter in order to see where that is. There's like a flare gun right next to it, and when you shoot the flare gun, you'll see where the item's located. But the nice thing about it is that you don't need the flare gun to actually pick up the item. If you know where the item is, then you can automatically pick it up, which I do enjoy. I hate it in games when you have to actually go through the scripted sequence first before you can pick up an item. It's really annoying. And the music here is great. I absolutely adore all the music in this game. Of course, the save through music and then the main theme for the police station and, you know, all that stuff. But, god darn it, I thought I'd be able to dodge it. Well, that's why taking extra herbs isn't a bad idea. And Sherry, you better not run over there. God damn it. Oh my god, I love this song as well. Yeah, if you guys haven't noticed, whenever I love a game, I tend to love the music as well. No, good games just have good music. Cannot deny that. I do love that you can hold all of the grenade rounds in the grenade launcher. It's really nice. Like, you don't have to constantly reload it or anything. You can just keep adding on to it. But yes, here's the giant train. Really cool. Hurry up, Sherry. Don't get stuck. And she got stuck because the world hates me. Thankfully, I can go in here. Oh, God. Sherry, why are you so dumb? Why are you so dumb? Alright, we have more than enough ammo to deal with this. Alright, sweet. But yeah, apparently the final live-action Resident Evil movie is going to be releasing soon. Which is going to be amazing, because that means the end of a horrible series of films, like, absolutely atrocious. I don't even know, like... I know the movies still make money because of how low the budgets are when they make them, but Jesus Christ. Why do you enjoy these movies? Like, stop watching the movies.
Claire, my stomach.
The movies do really
stomach
well
hurts.
internationally, so god damn it, international world, stop watching the Resident Evil live action films. Please.
Hang in there, Sherry.
We deserve a better class of film.
Burning out. I've got to hurry before the embryos pupate.
I like that word, pupate. Is a fun word. Alright, so William Birkin is after us again. And we finally get to do battle directly against him. So that should be cool. Oh yeah, this is one of the cooler forms here. Really enjoy it. And again, an amazing song is about to play. So it doesn't take much to kill him here. And of course he is weak against the fire, so just be sure to destroy him. This is why I stocked up on the flame ammo. And yeah, that was it. It's really easy to deal with here. He is a lot more threatening when you're going through this in Leon B or Claire B, depending, because he's kind of evolved past this point as well, so he's a lot more aggressive. It's pretty cool. I like it. Shut up, Sherry. Got time for your nonsense. Ain't nobody got time for that. So we are in Umbrella's secret laboratory. Not so secret now. But God, I don't know. I just miss like all the conspiracy stuff in these games. Again, they kind of brought that back in the original Resident Evil, you know, with the conspiracies and all that. But you know, I miss having like a set group of people that you enter an area with, and you kind of like come across them at different points in the game to see what they're up to, and you know how they're dealing with the situation. And depending on what you do, you can save them, or they can die, or maybe they turn on you. And I don't know. There's just so much more to the games.
Neither of my parents ever spent much
In
time
the old school series,
because
you could actually kind of
I grew up alone.
have an effect on how the story
Now that you're with me,
turned out, which was
finally
really
have
nice.
someone to rely upon.
Again, there was just a huge element of choice in the classic Resident Evil series. Something sorely missing from the later entries. Again, Revelations 2 does kind of play with a few ideas, kind of bring it back somewhat of an element of choice. It brings back the inventory. So yeah, again, if they expand upon that stuff, it will be great. I have absolutely no doubt that Resident Evil 7 will be great, but yeah, I hope the developers do fix all the mistakes that they made in Resident Evil 6, because Jesus, the series deserves more. But yeah, in any case, I was going to live stream this game, but since I'm going to be live streaming on Halloween, and I don't want to bombard you guys with, you know, live streams every day, I figured I'd just do a playthrough on my own. And especially since, you know, when people watch the live streams later on, they don't know what the chat is saying. I think it can be frustrating. Well, I think it can be a little frustrating to rewatch the live streams, because you guys have no idea who I'm talking to. So I probably should start putting the actual stream chat in the videos. So that would be cool. So you guys can see that I'm not just talking to myself like a crazy person. But again, I don't know. When you enter the lab here, there just isn't much resistance. There isn't as much resistance as you think there would be. a lot of the areas are fairly empty. You're just going around trying to figure out what to do. And with Claire, you're essentially trying to create the antivirus in order to save Sherry. But yeah. So right now we need to use the main fuse in order to give power to the lab. But I don't know, I love the design of the lab here. But once again, it is fairly strange that there isn't too much opposition, at least in the beginning. I mean, eventually you'll come across some interesting enemies. There are these plant-like enemies, which are probably the most threatening thing when doing speedruns, because every so often they... Well, besides Sherry's stupidity, and, well, no, they're not the most threatening, because the zombies in the beginning are probably the most annoying stuff to deal with when dodging and stuff, because you can very easily be overwhelmed by the zombies if you're not dodging them correctly in the police station. But yeah, every so often I do walk into one of these guys, so I definitely hope I don't do that now. Alright, we're good. But yeah, in any case, there's gonna be a giant vagina there on the left. Always a good thing to see. But yeah. So, I am going to be playing a few more games for Halloween. Hopefully up next, you guys will be seeing The House of the Dead 2. And that was kind of BS. So these liquors are stronger than the liquors in the mansion, or no, not in the mansion, in the police station, and Jesus Christ, I'm kind of getting annoyed right now. But yeah, these liquors are stronger than the ones in the police station. The ones in the police station only take 1 shot. These take 2 acid shots, which just freaking annoys me. And I do think their color scheme is a little different. They seem to be a lot more muddy looking. The other liquors are more pink. But yeah, perhaps I'm making that up. I don't know. I'm pretty sure there's a difference between their character models, so... I don't know, it seems like their claws are a little bigger too, but perhaps I'm pushing it with that. But, yeah. Again, there isn't too much to deal with here. And there are rooms in this area that you do not have to go in at all. There's a room with a giant maw that we will not be going into because we don't need anything from there. But, yeah, you could see that room in the background, like 2 screens ago. It was the one near all the eggs and stuff. But yeah, so let's pick up some grenade rounds. We're gonna need these for the final boss of the Claire A scenario. Excuse me. So there are a bunch of... Oh my god, seriously? There are a bunch of zombies in here. For the most part, they're easy to dodge though, so... I don't really concern myself with these guys. Alright, yeah, okay. I think this run is going pretty well. I've made a few mistakes. I had a little bit of a setback with Sherry, but for the most part, we're doing pretty good.
You killed William. I'll never forgive you for that.
Wait!
I've just prepared a sample of the G-Virus. And this time, no one will take it from me. This is the most significant piece of research my husband has ever left in my hands.
Stop it! Sherry's in serious trouble. William implanted her with his embryos. There's no telling when they'll pupate. And if that happens, then Sherry won't...
What? William... You're alive. William is still alive. He's getting stronger with each skin he casts off. Sherry!
Tell me what I need to know. How can I save Sherry?
I have detailed information. Everything you need to know to prepare the antidote is right here. Save my daughter. And tell her I'm sorry I wasn't a better mother. Tell her I love her. Sherry.
Annette!
The self-destruct sequence has been activated. Repeat, the self-destruct sequence has been activated. This sequence may not be aborted. All employees proceed to the emergency car at the bottom platform.
God, I love this song. It's my favorite end sequence song. It's freaking great. This one and Resident Evil 5 has a really good one as well, in my opinion. God, this song just pumps you up and gets you hype. To escape before this place explodes.
Leon, you made it!
Is that you? Where are you?
I can see you on the monitor. But never mind that right now. Leon, you have to go back and get Sherry for me. I left her in the security office. Please, you must save her.
Wait a second. What are you gonna do? Where are you going?
I still have a few loose ends to take care of. I'm counting on you.
Alright, so she just leaves Leon to go get Sherry. And he definitely goes and does that. But Leon was dealing with a lot of BS right there, too. But, yeah. So, this song is amazing. We're going to be dodging these lickers. But, yeah, I don't know. I freaking love this game. Absolutely love this game. I just, you know, again, like, if they made another Resident Evil game that played exactly like these older games with fixed camera angles and stuff, I would not have any issue with that whatsoever. Like, not at all. Fixed camera angles, throwing some pre-rendered backgrounds, throwing some alternative scenarios and stuff. And I'm good, I don't care. It's amazing. I really do miss this genre. Like, we do get some sparse horror games from time to time, but a lot of them go the route of things like Amnesia or things where you can't actually attack enemies like Outlast or Alien Isolation. Well, Alien Isolation you do eventually get means to attack enemies, but in most of these survival horror games you can't really attack anything, and you're essentially just running for your life all the time, hiding from enemies and stuff like that. And, you know, that can be pretty cool, but I do miss the days of resource management and trying to figure out where to go and what to do, and, you know, alternate paths through areas, and just, you know, I just miss non-linearity in general in video games. Again, I love linear experiences when it comes to, you know, pure action games or hack and slash, but when it comes to horror, I think non-linear is the way to go. Again, of course, there are set, you know, rules, and essentially you're going to be forced down certain paths at times, but for the most part, the games are pretty open-ended, the Resident Evil games. The classical ones, that is. You know, if you saw people playing through the game, you'll see a variety of ways. At least initially. Of course, eventually the speedrunners will come along and perfect the paths through the game and everything. But, you know, there are just so many ways to tackle the objectives and find the keys and all that stuff that I really do miss. Alright, you really need to watch out for these guys. I freaking hate those guys. But yeah, again, I really do miss survival horror games. It was pretty cool recently to see that Until Dawn actually used fixed camera angles and kind of the, I guess, old school survival horror control scheme somewhat. I guess it was a more modernized version of that, but it's still not the same because that game was more, I don't know, it's like more QTE heavy or something than survival horror. Oh, that's kind of BS. Since when do these nude zombies take more than one shot? Again, that's what I was talking about earlier. Like, you cannot just have a set amount of ammo and think it'll deal with all the enemies. Because depending on the enemy, sometimes they'll just take more shots for whatever reasons. Kind of ridiculous. But yeah. So we're going back here in order to complete making the vaccine so that Sherry can be saved. And once we do that, we will be fighting the final boss. And Annette and her Kool-Aid is on the floor. Spilling on her Kool-Aid and sleeping in it. She must be super drunk. But yeah. So, once again, in the Claire B scenario, you actually don't have to make the the antidote, because Sherry never gets infected by anything. I don't know, the A games or Leon A, Claire B, it's really interesting, but it's very strange to me at the same time. It's kind of foreign. It's just, at one point, Ada kind of betrays Leon, which never happens in the Leon B game. And I don't know if it just seems like an alternate scenario to me. And I initially, like, when I first played through the game, I played through Leon A, Claire B, because that's essentially how the game gives it to you. Like, Leon is disc 1, Claire's disc 2, so it's just like, here, play as Leon. But, you know, when I played through that, and then I played through Claire A, Leon B, I was like, this makes a lot more sense to me, and I can't remember why that was. I don't know, maybe it was just like a gut feeling or something. But, yeah. So now we are going to be making our way to the final boss, because we have the vaccine to save Sherry, so we just need to meet up with Leon. So there's a few more things to dodge, and we should be good. Actually, not a few more things to dodge. I didn't even have to dodge that guy. I don't know why I thought I had done a liquor. Alright, so we're gonna go with the normal grenade rounds for the boss. As far as I know, that's what he's most susceptible to. But this boss can ruin your day if you're stupid, so don't be stupid.
5 minutes until detonation.
Oh yes, and for anyone wondering, in order to get an A rank in this game, you have to beat it under 2 hours, I believe. 2 or 3 hours, I can't remember which. You beat it under 2 or 3 hours, and you can only save once. But as you guys know, I haven't saved at all. I do save sometimes in the B game, but in the A game, I pretty much never do. Every so often when I'm not confident in fighting Mr. X, I'm just like, Jesus, I'm probably gonna get screwed over here, so I'll just save the game. Alright, here comes a new transformation. Jesus Christ. Is he, like, standing on my head? What the? That was pretty odd. Come on, dude. Stop it. Come back here. You can hit him while he's up there, but, yeah, I don't know. He is being a little weird, but that wasn't too bad. So, that is the final boss of the A game. Nothing to really write home about. It's not very hard. The boss isn't too tough. The B game's final bosses are a lot more terrible. Well, they're a lot more formidable. So, yeah. At least the Tyrant is. The G-Virus stuff is pretty easy to deal with. Alright, so let's make our way out of here. And, hold on. There we go. That is the end of the A game. And, I'm pretty much 99.9% certain that, we will be getting the A rank and the infinite rocket launcher.
Sherry's unconscious.
I have the antidote. If I give it to her.
Claire, what's happening?
Not now. Come on, Sherry, wake up. Wake up. Please wake up.
Claire? Where am I?
It worked!
Oh, Sherry, you're gonna be okay.
Thanks, Claire.
It's over.
No. I have to find my brother.
You're right. This is just the beginning.
Ah, my God has protected you. It will always be with you.
Claire.
Sherry.
So yeah, there you have it, the end of the A game. I will say something else that was definitely improved in Resident Evil 3 were the CG scenes. CG scenes in Resident Evil 3 are still pretty impressive in my opinion. Nice and detailed and cool. This game, the characters look kind of puppet-like, kind of lifeless. But yes, so that is the end of Resident Evil 2. Really awesome game, obviously. I'm not sure if I will be doing the B game. I probably will. I pretty much have to do the B game now that I've done this one. But yeah, I'll probably upload that later in the week, hopefully, if I have the time. Because I've been, you know, playing a bunch of horror games to upload for this week for Halloween and everything. But yeah, hopefully I'll have the B game up by the end of the week, hopefully Thursday or Friday. So be sure to look out for that. But yeah, thank you very kindly for watching. If you watched all this, I hope it was fun to watch. Hope it was interesting hearing me ramble on about stuff. And yeah, I hope you all have a good day. Thank you very kindly for watching. And be sure to stay safe. And happy Halloween.